Zach's Tech Turf CES coverage is brought to you by our sponsors Corsair and Antec. Big thanks to these companies for making this trip possible. So I had an appointment to meet with the Thermaltake booth here at CES, and I actually left the booth completely surprised and very excited about something in particular. Let's have a look. Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf and my Thermaltake CES coverage video, which is actually way more exciting of a video than I thought it originally would be. And if you're new here and you want to see my other CES videos just like this one, then hit that subscribe button down below and also that notification bell. That way you never miss an episode. But yeah, let's get into it. The Thermaltake booth here at CES 2020 absolutely did not disappoint. They had a ton of new RGB and water cooling products like I expected, but like I said, there's something that was very interesting, so we'll save that one for last. What I first want to talk about is their new ToughRAM lineup, because this has some really cool options for those baller PC builders, but also us budget builders as well. I'm sure most of you are familiar with their ToughRAM series already. It's a rugged and beefy looking RAM kit that now comes in two different colors, as they added the white models, and there's both RGB and non-RGB kits as well. I'm personally a huge fan of how these non-RGB models look, because more and more of us are starting to put together PC builds that look clean and modern, but without the craziness of RGB. What I also like about their desktop memory announcements is a water block that can get added to your CPU loop to water cool your RAM. Yep. Water-cooled RAM. These RAM water blocks are also packing RGBs as you would expect from a Thermaltake product, and what I really like is that these RGB RAM kits come in kits from frequencies all the way down to 3200 megahertz. I was kind of worried that these types of products would only work on the super high-end 4000 plus megahertz kits. Just like all of the new Thermaltake products, these RGB RAM kits fit into the TT RGB Plus ecosystem, which we will definitely be talking about a bit later. Before that though, we definitely need to touch up on some of their new case announcements, specifically one that I kind of want to get on my desk as soon as possible when I return from CES. Thermaltake showed off some mid-range options, but mostly they were really high-end, such as my personal favorite, the AHT600. Oh my goodness, this thing is an absolute monster. The AHT600 is an all-steel and tempered glass build that's rocking a hinged side panel, plenty of open areas for great airflow, and multiple glass windows up front, which I personally think look pretty baller. There's a ton of DIY water cooling solutions that you could put into this beast, and it's also a PC modder's dream as it can be completely disassembled and customized. Thermaltake reps really put an emphasis that this is more for modders because of that, and if you buy the white snow edition, you could essentially layer this with whatever color paint you want to really customize it to your liking. Thermaltake also released some other great mid-range case options that I don't necessarily want to skip. You can see them in some of these shots here, but I would recommend checking out the link in the description if you want more information on those. With the physical products out of the way, I now want to talk about honestly one of my favorite things that I've seen at CES so far, their new NeonMaker lighting software. The Thermaltake NeonMaker software is essentially a video editing software like Adobe Premiere, but for your RGB lightings. Every TT Plus product works inside this software suite, and it allows you to completely customize and control the RGB products like no other product on the market. With NeonMaker, you get a timeline at the bottom as you can see here, and you can place specific colors and animations to occur as time moves on. Up at the top, you can arrange and configure your RGB products, so it'll make it easy to say, for example, have an animation flow throughout the case in a specific order, so you don't have to worry about plugging in parts in the specific RGB ports and whatnot. You can then save that timeline as a configuration file and then move that configuration file to another build, or say your friend's build, for example. That way you can keep all the configurations the same. This is a pretty interesting piece of software. Finally, the RGB fans that you're seeing here are also their new ring quads, which, like the name suggests, contain 4 separate rings of LEDs that are addressable, contain 54 LEDs, and they look really slick. Well, that wraps up my Thermaltake CES coverage video for 2020. As always, drop a comment down below about what you found the most interesting, and after that, feel free to head on over to one of these 2 videos if you haven't seen them yet, and definitely hit that subscribe button, because coming up next, I think I have one more bit of CES coverage. You don't want to miss that video.